Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Stephen Carroll and I'm joined by Bloomberg's breaking news editor Louise Moon for more. Louise, good morning. Let's start then with the British drinks company Diageo lowering its full year outlook for sales and profit. It's not too early to talk about drinks at this hour. Tell us what's gone wrong.
Never too early to talk about Guinness, Stephen. So Diageo cut its full-year outlook, so expecting full-year sales to be flat, essentially, or slightly down. And their first quarter, this came alongside their first quarter results, and sales also came in flat for the first quarter. Essentially, it was a really interesting one. So part of it is they've noted subdued demand in the US. This obviously, there's kind of been an ongoing shift in drinking habits and also in spending. So that was one part of it, that there's that subdued demand in the US. And then they've also seen quite a hit from impact of a government policy in China. So this was introduced in March or around March. And essentially the government are trying, or they're pushing to stop what they call, or to cut wasteful spending. So there's been less consumption of a lot of alcohol at official events and more widely kind of across the country. So less consumption of Baijiu, which is a white spirit in China. And Diageo have kind of been building up their presence in that space over the past few years. So they've seen quite a big hit from that, and they noted that quite a few times in their release this morning. And then on top of that, there was also kind of a lack of news on their search for the new CEO. So shares being pulled down this morning. They're one of the main fallers on the FTSE 100 in London. And there was a quote from their interim CEO saying, "We're not satisfied with our current performance and we're focused on what we can manage and control." So not a great update from Diageo this morning.
Yeah, shares down 2.8% at the moment in London. Let's go to Paris next. Air France-KLM shares down 13.5% after their results. What happened?
Yeah, earnings miss expectations kind of across the board. So operating income, revenue, they both came in lower than expected. One of the main things that they're flagging is strikes. So there was a 2-day strike in France for air traffic control that hit them, and there was a ground personnel strike in September in the Netherlands. So obviously they're two key countries. They say that cost about 50 million euros in the quarter. So that's really kind of the main drag that they're seeing as well. So as you say, shares are falling on the back of that. And then they also noted that kind of warmer than usual summer in countries like Germany, the UK and the Netherlands also reduced demand for trips to southern Europe. So that was also weighed on them slightly. Their performance that they've had this morning contrasts quite heavily with Lufthansa. They had quite an upbeat outlook at the end of last month. And then we've got IAG, British Airways parent, tomorrow. So we'll have to see how they fare, but not a very strong update, mostly on the back of strikes for Air France-KLM.
Okay, and then we're going to Denmark now. The shipping giant AP Møller Maersk, their shares down 5.5%. What's moving markets lower?
Indeed, yeah. Well, so they raised their full-year profit guidance this morning, which obviously on the face of it seems quite positive, but investors are essentially disappointed. They wanted more improvements. They wanted them to raise it by a higher margin. Analysts are saying that their third quarter was, in a quote, a bit of a bubble. So it was a good report, but everything kind of points to difficulty ahead, which could give reason that they didn't raise their full-year profit guidance further. So this is it. So Maersk is seen as kind of a bellwether for global trade, and global trade is facing a lot of headwinds at the moment. So there's lower freight rates, disruption in the Red Sea, which is expected to remain. US-China trade is slowing. So all of these are weighing on the wider industry and weighing on the shipping giant. So analysts are saying there's kind of less hope for buybacks and difficulties ahead for the company.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.